Community Forum is sponsored by the Easton Grange 196 and a friend of Yardley Wood Rink and the Easton Lions Club.
There's a storm across the valley, the clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is March 5th, 2026. I'm your host, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, and today gives me a great deal of pleasure to welcome to our show Dr. Israel Rolón Barada. Did I say it right?
Perfectly well.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. And Doctor, may I call you Israel?
Israel, please.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Israel is from Spain originally, but he's here in northeastern Massachusetts on a book tour, and he will be presenting a lecture on the book and have a book signing at the Queeset House on Saturday,
Yes.
March 7th at 3 p.m. in Northeastern. So put that on your calendars, show up and be entertained. It's going to be a wonderful presentation, and we are so pleased that you could join us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so honored and so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and he's a world traveler. He just came back from L.A. And so tell me a little bit about your origin in Spain, where you grew up.
Well, actually, I need to point out that I am originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Because it happened that obviously, like so many other people in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, Puerto Rico, my grandparents were from Spain. They were immigrants, and
of course,
like 100 years ago. So that's how. But I have spent, and by the way, I'm very proud to be from San Juan, Puerto Rico. But on the other hand, I've been spending a lot of time, years, studying and working on a lot of research in Spain, in Barcelona, in Madrid, all over Spain. And I go back and forth, perhaps at least once a year.
Okay, so you have been a world traveler, mainly though in Spain in order to do your research and all. Now, tell me, this book about the Spanish actress Sara Montiel, and tell us a little bit, what's the name of the book? And I think you collaborated with another author?
Well, that's the one regarding, the one that I was working on in collaboration with another professor is actually the one dedicated to Carmen Laforet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm mixing the books up.
The one regarding Sara Montiel is my book, is Sara Montiel, Más allá del mito, una mujer más allá del mito.
So what is the title in English?
Well, Sara Montiel, Beyond the Myth.
Now, she was a very popular actress in Spain, but I think early on her mother and she moved to Mexico.
That's right.
And she was an actress, world-renowned. And how did you come to meet her, understand her? I mean, you didn't meet her, but I mean, learn of her.
I actually, I learned about Sara Montiel since I was a kid. Sara Montiel was actually became a superstar after the 50s. At the end of the 50s, and also in the 60s. And it happened that, as you mentioned, Sara Montiel left Spain in 1950. She flew with her mother all the way from Madrid to Mexico City, where she became actually, to work in the movie industry, where she actually became a lovely actress and singer in Mexico. From there, she actually had the chance, the opportunities, and open doors to go to Hollywood. So she moved to Hollywood. And then, so she was also filming and producing in Hollywood for Warner Brothers, for United. And then, well, it happened that by 1957, she went back to Spain, and she did a couple of films. For example, El Último Cuplé, 1957, and La Violetera in 1958. And that was where she actually became a superstar. Out of that era, that was when she really went around the world. She became popular, so popular that during the 60s, even if I was born and I grew up in San Juan, Puerto Rico, I was totally familiar with her name and with her beauty and her movies and her music. And she became a legend and a myth, as I mentioned before, and that's part of the title of the book, because she was actually an international figure. And to the point that everyone knew her, everyone was familiar with Sara Montiel. Not only in the States, but in Latin America and the rest of Europe.
And there came a time when you got to meet her.
Yes.
And how did that happen?
Yes, absolutely. It was a very sweet story, because since I'm a professor and I have been teaching in the academia for so many years, it happened that, do you remember the MLA, Modern Language Association?
Oh, okay.
The MLA, they have a conference once a year. And in one of these conferences, I was actually talking to some other dear professors. They decided to go and to propose for the following year what they call a round table about Spanish divas. And that's how I got involved into this project.
And she was a diva.
She was a Spanish diva. She was the top Spanish diva of the 20th century. There's no question about it. She was at the very top. And it happened that, we were actually, among these other professors, between us, we were actually trying to decide who was going to talk about whom. And they did ask me, my friends, my dear friends and colleagues, asked me to talk about Sara Montiel. So I said, well, I have an advantage. I'm not shy. I'm not shy at all. I went, I knocked at the door of the Televisión Española, it's the TV in Spain, and I found her contact info and all her information, and I decided to call her. So I called her one day, and she answered at the other side. I was going to die. Because I could recognize that voice, even from, obviously, the other side of the world. So, and I did ask her, Miss Montiel, could I actually, and she said, please call me Sara and all of that. Could I please meet you for an interview? Could I conduct an interview for the next MLA conference? And that was the point. And she told me, of course, I mean, why not? But the only thing is that you have to come to a little island in Spain that is called Tabarca. It's a very tiny island that people go there during the summer. It's a beautiful spot to go there to spend some time there during the summer. And that's how I flew from Philadelphia, from my home in Philadelphia, all the way to meet Sara Montiel personally. And then that was how everything started. And our interview was probably for 24 hours. It took me 24 hours in a row to take a deep understanding of, all what she wanted to tell me as well. And so finally, after that interview that took place during the summer of 2011, and that's how we became friends. Not only I had the opportunity to conduct that interview, but we became very good friends. It was automatically, the chemistry was there and everything was there. And she could tell that I knew a lot about music, about her movies, about her legacy.
Because she was not only an actress, she was also a vocalist.
Yes, she was a singer as well. So she was doing both. Just to share and to actually provide an image of Sara Montiel, while Sara Montiel was in the 50s. Today, I'm sure all new generations, they are totally familiar with, for example, J-Lo or Beyonce or Shakira, and why not? So Sara Montiel was, I need to tell you, I'm not afraid of telling you that Sara Montiel was all of them in one. Was Sara Montiel was, and with for example, no internet during the 50s, during the 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s. That was her prime when she was at the top of her career. You know that there was no internet. So she did that without not even nothing, Facebook or none of these platforms, Instagram, nothing. So she did that. So she was very talented. She was very talented, and she had a lot of charisma above everything. Plus, obviously, she was absolutely beautiful. She was the most beautiful Spanish woman actress from Spain, in Spain, during the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. There was nothing above Sara Montiel.
So you came to write a book about her, from not just from that interview, but from speaking with her colleagues.
Yes, actually, yes. I need to point out, the day that I decided to write a book about Sara Montiel and to go ahead with that project was after her passing, just because of the impact of her passing and losing a dear friend, because she became my dear friend during the last couple of years of her life. And we were, actually, I even had the opportunity to coordinate and to schedule a tour through the States. Yes, we went to Chicago, Cincinnati, and New York City. We did that for a couple of weeks, and so that's how we became so close and so good friends. And then from there, after her passing, she passed unfortunately suddenly, and it was in April, the 8th of April of 2013. After that, I was so sad and so worried about her legacy, her promoting, recovering her legacy, and providing everything to new generations, so they don't forget Sara Montiel, and the ones that they don't know the name, so they can actually know Sara Montiel, and also that they don't forget who was Sara Montiel, plus her legacy.
So you have, by writing this book, you have promoted her legacy, and now I imagine there are photos in the book too.
Yes, there are plenty of photos, but again, not that many as she deserves or she had, because to make a comparison, I have been observing and checking that Sara Montiel has probably the same amount of pictures available as Elizabeth Taylor, for example, in the States. And actually, they were from the same generation. Sara Montiel, Elizabeth Taylor, Sophia Loren, and they all met. They were all, at some point, they were all together, working together at Warner Brothers, and so there's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of beautiful pictures, photos available of Sara Montiel. I wish I could have more. Perhaps on the second edition, we will have the opportunity to put more photos of Sara Montiel.
Yeah. And so what were some of the films that she starred in?
Yes, well, actually, she started her career during the late 40s, during Franco era. I need to point out that that was a very difficult stage in Spain to be an actress, because she had to be on the screen and starting filming with very small roles during the 40s, where women in Spain, they were supposed to be home, taking care of their husbands children and their kitchen. That was the woman's job,
Yeah.
during the
We all know that history.
during the 40s. And, because also that was Francisco Franco. They were living under Francisco Franco.
Right. And she had some conflicts with Franco.
She did she actually, but she had her goal. She had it very clear since she was an adolescent, a young girl. She wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a singer, and she did. So after doing those small roles in Spain, she had a chance to fly to Mexico City to actually work with big stars that they were already established in Mexico, and she spent there like a total of 5 years. And one of her most famous movies there was Piel Canela. Piel Canela is a title, the name of a song of a Puerto Rican composer, of Bobby Capó, actually. But Piel Canela is a Mexican movie that is actually a classic. And she was there, and she was part of it. She did very well. And that's how everything started to go up the hill.
Mm-hmm. And then she was noticed by Hollywood film producers, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. United and actually Warner Brothers, they came over. It's very interesting, Priscilla. They came over to Mexico looking for her. It's not that she went knocking doors in Hollywood. She didn't need to. She didn't have to. She was actually very lucky in that sense. Obviously, she was very beautiful. But Mexico is obviously next to California, next to LA. And, these Mexican producers were doing so well during the 50s and the 60s. It was el cine clásico de oro, no? The golden era of the cinema in Mexico. And that's how these producers and this film industry in Hollywood was keeping an eye on everyone in Mexico. That's how they came over, inviting her to start filming and being a part of the system in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And it was beautiful because she had the opportunity to go to do a couple of films, actually a total of 3 films. And during her second film, it's called Serenade with Mario Lanza.
Ah, yes.
That movie with Mario Lanza, that's how the movie...
I have seen that one.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh, great. I'm so happy, so glad. Yeah. So it happened that the director was Anthony Mann, one of the top directors during that era. And it happened that Anthony Mann fell in love with Sara Montiel. So they actually married.
Oh my.
Yes. And then after 3 films in Hollywood, she was out of Spain for a total of 5 years. And she said to her husband and to her mother, and that was always next to her, by the way, she said, hey, I want to spend Christmas, after 5 years, being out of Spain for 5 years, I really want to go back to Spain. I really want to see my friends and family. She told her husband, I'm taking my mother. I'm going to spend a couple of weeks in Spain. That's how she went to Spain, and she was invited to do more films, to be part of a couple of new films in Spain. That was a very lucky moment for her, because she did a couple of movies coming from her experience in Mexico and LA, in Hollywood. She was able to develop herself and to grow. She was growing, and she had experience. She had new experience from Mexico and from Hollywood, and she was able to bring a lot with her to start filming and producing again in Spain. That's how, after 1957, 1958, she became a superstar.
Wow.
That's how everything happened.
Yes, and so you have recorded all of that in the book.
Yes, I have precisely. I have divided the book in 6 chapters. Each chapter is dedicated to her 5 different stages of her career, of her trajectory.
Right.
So the last chapter is actually regarding the last stage of her life when she was actually out of the spotlight. But she was always working since she was a girl, since she was like 14 years old until her death. Like for 60 years, she was working. For 70 years, she was working non-stop.
How old was she when she died?
She was 85. She was 85, and her mind was perfectly well. She was perfectly well. She was suddenly, she died suddenly on a Monday morning. She had a heart failure.
Heart failure.
Yes, and her home. She was actually dressed up. She was on her way to her eye doctor, actually, that morning. On that morning, she was ready to go, and then suddenly she couldn't breathe, and she was asking her maid to please open the windows, call the doctor. By the time that her maid came back, her name was Anna, is her maid. That we're still friends. We're still friends. We are still in touch, by the way. So Anna found her dead at the sofa in their family room. She was dead, unfortunately, but she had a full life.
She had a very full life.
And she did all what she wanted. 4 marriages, children.
How many?
4 husbands, yes, 4 husbands.
Well, so what about the first one?
Well, actually, the first one was official. The first official husband was Anthony Mann.
Yes.
Was the movie director. They were married like probably for a total of 6 years.
Okay, and did they have children?
No, they didn't. She lost a baby. Once she was expecting a baby. She had a small accident in her house in Hollywood, in Beverly Hills, where they used to live. She fell on the floor, and unfortunately she lost a baby of Anthony Mann. But then after 6 years, they divorced. It didn't last because her professional lives were going in different directions.
So did she ever have children?
Not of her own. Then she was working non-stop until she was like 51, 52 years old, when she knew that she wasn't going to be able to have children, but she really wanted to have children. So she was able, with her third husband, Pepe Toes, was a producer, was a TV producer, a radio, media producer, a theater producer. He was also a newspaper, the owner of a newspaper in Palma de Mallorca in Spain. So they fell in love, and it was a perfect combination. And she was already over 50 years old when she and her husband decided to adopt some children. So they adopted 2 kids. Thais, her daughter, the oldest, is Thais, and the next younger son is Zeus. They both live in Spain.
Oh, they do?
Yes, they are both. They have their own lives already.
Of course.
Guys.
Now you have met them.
Yes, I have met both of them. They're very interesting, very nice guys, very beautiful people. I'm very proud, both of them, very proud of their mother. And their father, of course, but
Right.
also.
I think many of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s would recognize her because of the movies that she was in, especially Serenade with Mario Lanza.
Yes.
And she must have been singing with him.
Yes. Well, actually, they were, but the singer was him.
Yes,
in the
he
movie.
was, right, yeah.
It was, because actually, very interesting that you mentioned that, because Warner Brothers was like promoting Mario Lanza's voice, because they wanted to support him also in that field, because he had beautiful voice, an absolutely beautiful voice, but it happened that he didn't have the opportunity to promote his voice and to go to the theater to sing actually as a tenor in an opera or something like that. He was for the films. He was working for the film industry. Actually, he was singing for Warner Brothers and all other producers. You know, he was a very important tenor, but in the history of music,
Exactly.
but dedicated to the movies.
Right. Yes. I think Caruso and Mario Lanza, and don't forget UC Bierling
Yes.
in Sweden.
Yes, that's right.
Those were the three tenors, I think, that, and then we have...
By then.
And then we have, who's the recent one who just died?
Pavarotti,
Yes,
Luciano
Pavarotti.
Pavarotti.
Right.
And we still have, obviously, the other two, I mean, but they were all singing together with, they were friends and co-workers.
Right.
Yes.
So now listen,
Please.
we have about three minutes left.
Yes.
And to talk about this, and I'm going to have you back to do another session, community forum session about
Carmen Laforet?
Carmen Laforet.
Perfect.
Really?
Perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yes, you're very good.
Right.
We'll
And
remember this.
so, but the important news for our listening audience and our viewing
Yes.
audience is this Saturday, March 7th,
Yes.
at the Queeset House at 3 p.m.
Yes.
You will be talking about Sara Montiel, and the book will be available.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
you will be signing it?
Yes, there will be some books available. I will be glad to sign for whomever would like to buy them. You know.
Yes.
And also, I need to mention that this book is from a very, very good editorial house in Spain. The name of the editorial house is Almozara, and I have a wonderful. I am very lucky to have a wonderful editor, and her name is Maria. And we are very good friends, and you know, actually, I just want to say that this is a very special book, a very special edition. And by the way, we are also celebrating the International Women's Day because it's Sunday. Sunday the 8th is the International Women's Day.
Yeah, it's the 8th, not the 7th, right?
The celebration.
Oh, yeah.
It's the 8th.
Right.
Sunday the 8th. But we are celebrating that on Saturday the 7th.
Right.
With my book, and giving thanks again to my dear editor Maria Borras, who is a very distinguished editor in Spain.
Now, is this book in Spanish?
Yes, it is in Spanish. It is in Spanish, but hopefully I'm working on the opportunities, you know, alternatives to have an English version, an English translation as soon as possible.
Good, because I think many of us will be looking forward to that.
Yes, absolutely, Priscilla.
So-
And thank you so much, Priscilla.
You're very welcome. So tell me, it's Sunday, and that's March?
This March 7th, what we are going to start talking is about biographical writing. And then I'm going to be talking about Carmen Laforet and also about Sara Montiel, that they are my two big books available. But on the other hand, I need to mention that this is Saturday the 7th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we are celebrating International Women's Day. That is Sunday the 8th.
Right. And is the other book that you're going to be presenting, is that also in Spanish?
Yes, I will be talking about it.
Right.
Basically, I will be talking about both of them, both Spanish ladies, that they were totally different characters.
Well, the
way.
important thing is that you're talking about two famous women
Yes,
who are probably not so well known to most of us and should be.
yes.
So
yes,
thank you.
I'm very glad so everyone get to know Carmen Laforet
Yes.
and Sara Montiel.
Right. So Dr. Israel Rolón Barada, we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Priscilla.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, be well.
Thank you.
There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder